The Chieftain T95, the Tier 8 British Premium Heavy Tank, is a vehicle that is never on anybody's radar. Even if you see this thing up against you, there's not much you think about, until the player using this tank has you on its radar instantly. And that is one of the sneaky secrets about this vehicle. It actually carries the highest view range for a Tier 8 Heavy Tank in the game. And it's not by a small number either, it's by a large number. This vehicle, if we break over to Blitz Hangar, you'll see has 293.8 meters of view range. Now, if we go over to the next highest, which would be the Carnarvon, it has 282.5. That is a 10-meter difference. That's pretty big, judging that that's a big difference for lights, a massive difference from being able to spot opponents at decent ranges to not. And the fact that the Chieftain T95 has that much means that even compared to mediums, the highest view range for a medium is 302. But if you break into your average medium, it's about 290. Meaning, yeah, the Chieftain Marks, or not Chieftain Mark 6, yeah, imagine seeing a Chieftain Mark 6 in Tier 8. But the Chieftain T95 in Tier 8 can outspot half of any Tier 8 medium, outspot every single TD. Of course, camouflage comes into play. Vehicles like the RHM will do a better job just because of the camo. But spotting itself, this tank can outspot about 80% of the opponents you'll be coming up against out there on the battlefield. That is truly incredible. Unfortunately, it has some big downsides going for it. Now, we all know about the Chieftain Mark 6, and if you took a look at this hull armor, you'd notice it's very similar to the Chieftain Mark 6. In fact, if we got up a tier 10, let's say like the TVP 5051, even with heat shells, with calibrated on, this is 315 millimeters of effective pen, you can see the armor is great. Hull down, your upper plate is basically impervious, the turret is incredibly strong. But then you look up and you see this huge Honga Balonga sticking right up there, and it's got literally 100 millimeters thick. Like, it's awful. And that's a really big weak spot, because let's say we go down to tier 5 and we get out, I don't know, the Stritzwagen M42. Yeah, it pens that. At any angle, it pens it. It is super weak. This tank is 110 millimeters of pen, and it pens that cupola. It's not hard to hit. The turret's very slow in traverse. It's just a sitting duck. You've also got a very big lower plate. That, again, a tier 5 can penetrate. The side armor, a tier 5 can penetrate, and same for the rear. And believe it or not, this is actually the same armor if we were to jump up 2 tiers to the Chieftain Mark 6, you'll notice. So, yeah, that's one thing that's actually very surprising about the vehicle that might surprise you. But, for the most part, hull down, the tank is great. It's got a super strong gun, 2,300 damage per minute. Great penetration, 212 millimeters on the standard, 265 on the premium. It's got 0.302 dispersion, or something very similar to that. And its aiming time at 3 seconds is also very, very solid. The gun is great. You know, you don't really need to worry about that gun letting you down, and it's able to contest mediums pretty easily. The tank weighing in at 52 tons you might think is a bit slower for your heavies, especially judging that it does have that tier 10 armor profile, but surprisingly, it goes in at 40 kilometers per hour forward and 20 in reverse, so it's not a slow vehicle. It's just that cupola. It's so bad. It's so bad. The Chieftain Mark 6, you always feel like you've got that security when you're hull down. But this tank, you're hull down and then you've got a whole other issue that people can shoot. It's just, bleh. But we're going to see what the tank's able to do either way in today's video. If you enjoy it and you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I always try bringing up some weird fact that you might not know about. Another fact that I bet a lot of people don't know about is that this tank used to be, when it first came out, the rarest vehicle basically in the game, up there with vehicles like the M60 at that time period. The reason behind that was this tank was the second Blitzfair vehicle ever. There was the M60 that was in the Blitzfair, and this was the second Blitzfair, what I mean by that. And then this tank was in the Blitzfair. And basically, if you spent like $20 or $50, I don't remember how much it was, you got this super wheel spin. And basically, on that super wheel spin, the Chieftain T95, along with the M60, had like a 1% chance to land on. And if you landed on the tank, then you got it. But it was literally a 1% drop chance. Not what you'd want, right? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Either way, the tank, it wasn't anything really special. It was just a vehicle that people wanted to get their hands on. And basically, nobody could. It was super, super rare to get your hands on. But then Wargaming decided to completely diminish that price tag by selling it for every single person. Thankfully, we were able to actually get a bounce from that T92E1, and because I've got a very good gun on DPM, we're going to get a second shell into that guy. I really don't like players that are in those tanks, especially when they think they can get away with something ornery like that. So I'm going to make sure that he does get punished, and he definitely did get punished. He lost a pretty big chunk of his hit point pool there. And we do have the Progetto over here, which we can maybe get a nice tap into, but oof, we did get hit by the WZ-112 Glacial in that process. But thankfully, since I do have a out-reloading capability from that glacial, we are able to get a second shell out onto another tank. So I don't really know what to say about this current scenario. We do have that glacial there. Nice tap into his track wheel. As we did go over, the gun is super nice on this tank. It's able to just butter through armor with ease, you know. Let's aim in on that. There you go, aim X5100. And we are getting bounces. You can see they're aiming at my cupola, but they are missing. While it is a very weak cupola, you still can get bounces here and there, surprisingly, right? But yeah, you actually can get bounces on it. It's sometimes troll to aim at, but it all depends on what skill level you have. I can say that very skilled players will most likely hit it most of the time. Either way, we got a nice shot into the T54 Mod 1, and if he's going to be stuck there, we're going to get another shot into that T54 Mod 1. Backing our way out and up. The nice thing about this tank is obviously you've got that really nice reverse speed, so you can actually get into cover fairly quickly with this vehicle. There goes the Progetto, though. Oof, my tank actually kind of wedged up there a little bit, which caused me to miss that shell, but either way, we're going to get a nice tap into you. Maybe we can get a bit of a ram as well. As I said, this tank weighs in at, well, 52 tons, which means, surprisingly, it can get some very hefty rams out. Either way, the first game was pretty good, and it showcased where this tank can actually be good. Hull down, it's not a bad vehicle. Now, don't get me wrong. There's really nothing special about the tank, and I wouldn't suggest to ever buy this if it came into the stores. It's not a great vehicle. It's okay. You know, the gun's okay. I really think that what they should do is just remove that cupola, and it would be one of the best tier 10 heavies in the game, or tier 10s, tier 8 heavies in the game. But, yeah, they're never going to do that, and I understand why. The turret is already insane. The hull is very good. You saw there, I was able to get a lot of bounces, but we're probably going to be finding out, I'm hoping we're going to find out, I'm not hoping for my sake, but I'm hoping for the video's sake, that we are going to find out how easy it is to actually hit that cupola. Either way, first game was pretty good. Let's see if we can get one more pretty solid game out. Now, obviously, in that battle there, we didn't really get to use view range all that much, but there are going to be scenarios where there are light tanks that are going to try and spot you, or medium tanks on Oasis Palms, and you've got to try and spot them. This tank is more like a medium than a heavy, and that's clearly notable when you see that it has those big weak spots. Its gun is more like a medium tank, and it's got mobility that is more suited towards a medium playstyle than a heavy. So it's able to do the role of a heavy, but not really play with the heavies. It's more of a medium, as I did say. So for that, it's pretty solid on what it's able to do. Now we've got an E75 TS off to the side, and there's a beautiful tap right into the side of his turret cheek. As I did go over before, the gun is very, very accurate, which means you can get some really, really nice taps out. But, yeah, that guy, yeah, you can see he's trying to get that bahonga-balonga dingala-dongala on the roof of my tank. And because of that, there's really not much I can do to his vehicle. Honestly, I'm not even going to try and contest this hill currently. There's not much going on there. My team's looking like they're not doing great. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to see if I can get a shell into a vehicle like this Tiger 1. If we can finish off this guy, that'll be great. Pushing my way onto the rest of the opponents. So let's see if we can do that. 1,500 hit points, pretty easy to take out, right? So here we are, pushing on the Tiger, and there is one nice penetration onto his vehicle. As we did go over, very, very nice gun for this tank. So let's go for another pen. There you go, another 204 damage there. Now we got the KV-3 dealing with the Tiger as well. There's another nice tap into you. We do have the ISU off to the side there, and with that ISU, well, he's actually stocked, so he's not much of a threat, but still would like to shoot him actually over the other tanks here, just because it is an ISU. I hate them, and yeah, let's get another shot into him. Obviously, this tank has ridiculous accuracy, like as we did go over. So accuracy is very good. Another nice tap into you, back up from that E75 TS before he is able to get a connecting shell into my tank, and there we go. Teammate was actually able to finish off that guy. So with that, well, what do we have to worry about here? Well, we've got the ISU off to the side. We've got the P44 Pantera all the way up here. Nice tap into the side of the Pantera for 193 damage there. And that ISU, he's poking, so we'll try and aim in a nice shell. Ooh, that was an unfortunate shot. That wasn't even the tank's fault. That was just clipping into the ground, I guess, right? So let's push up here. There's that ISU. There's a nice tap into the ISU's lower plate. Let's see if we can get some more shells out here. There's the 75 TS, and with that, let's aim in a shell right on his lower plate. I know that we actually do out-reload him, but in this exact scenario, this team is quite doo-doo, and with that, yeah, I really don't know what to say about this battle. Our team's falling apart way, way, way too quickly. So the team's obviously not going to win this. But either way, it showcased that this is a pretty solid vehicle. Obviously, that cupola is not solid, though, and we got penned very easily in the cupola, basically every shell that's been fired at it. Again, there's another nice pen into the cupola. It's just such a weak spot, but, wow, we actually didn't even pen that guy there. Very surprising. Thought that we would, but either way, we did okay. We did about 3,000 damage there. The team fell apart extremely quick. Tried to do my best to do something, but Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about a vehicle like this, is because I know I've got that big weak spot on the roof, because that Pantera got the side of the hill, and because my team did just, yeah, not good, we weren't really able to win this battle. Either way, tank still showed its strengths here, and it is a pretty fun tank, just it does struggle in certain aspects. Let me know what you guys think about the Chieftain in the comments down below. Is it good? Is it bad? Let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, but other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.